Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Also, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I did already talk to mine this morning. After our adventures in Machina Arcana last week, we're headed back to the skies of World War II Europe as we play Skies Above Britain by GMT Games. Now, my relationship with this game has been complicated, shall we say. Based on what I like in war games, this should easily be a top 10 game in my collection. Instead, I've kind of been bouncing pretty hard off of this one, and I think some of the problem I've been having with it is that the flow of this game doesn't completely make sense to me. To remedy that, I've got there's a deck of cards, essentially, that you can print out off of Board Game Geek that will help with the flow of the game, and I'm hoping that will help me make sense of this one a bit more. Where if it doesn't, I may start looking into moving this game out of my collection. So this one's got us in the Battle of Britain, piloting either Hurricanes or Spitfires against World War II Germany. We are going through the Skirmishing Over the Channel campaign. We're on our 5th patrol in this campaign. So, first thing we can do is we can line up our squadron. We're using the historic 303 squadron for this one, but we've taken quite a few hits. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our pilots in the hospital, and 1 has already been killed in action. I'm not worrying about replacements for this campaign, because it is my first campaign after all, and I'm not sure I'm going to finish it. Like I said, my reaction to this game so far has been a little bit on the mixed side. It's one, as I mentioned, it's one I know I should like based on liking narrative games, but I've just been bouncing hard off of it. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We just barely have enough pilots. I was about to say pirates. We have just enough pilots to form a squadron with a couple extra. I'm not using events either. I want to see who my... Actually, that might be a problem, because we're going into our 5th patrol of the campaign, and we've actually got 4 fatigued pilots. Let's see who's all fatigued. So H was already in the hospital. Aya's Zapoznikau. My pronunciation, presumably that's Polish, is absolutely horrible. So he is fatigued, as is Wakowitz. So that's J. Fatigued. Who else? Belk was a regular pilot. Why did I think I had more fatigued pilots that were theoretically available to fly? 1, 2, 3. No. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. We're actually 1 pilot short. So we'll go with the plane short. So now we need to assign our pilots. I've got all our inbound vectors all set to go. So let's go ahead and assign our pilots. We're going to put Paskowicz as a leader. Let's see, I want pilots who aren't going to be fatigued on this first mission as my section leaders. Let's see, unfortunately that's going to be most of them. Zumbach's going to be a leader in blue section. Ferrick is going to be red section leader. And Zach is going to be yellow section leader. We'll put Dzuski in green 2. Actually, this looks like those should be flipped. Okay. Alright, so finishing up with green section, we're going to put Karubin as green 2 as well. Let's see, then in blue section with Zumbach, we're going to put Franisek in blue 2, and Forbes is going to be blue 3. Then actually, okay, yeah, never mind. With Ferrick, we're going to put Henneberg and Radomski. Then we're going to have Kellett in yellow 2. So actually, yellow section is down a hurricane today, which could be problematic. We need to go in the rest of our patrol setup details. So we need to figure out where we're starting. Actually, we need to figure out... Yeah, we need to figure out squadron formation. We need to figure out where we are. That's a 5. So we're still deep in Britain. So our squadron is over here. I've got the raid marker offshot as well. We need to roll for visibility. Using the starting visibility. Starting visibility 9. We're looking at haze and sun. Alright, so the haze marker. Let's see if we can find... That was a big one. I think that was a big one as I recall. Let me see if I can find it in here. I see a couple of sun markers in here, but those are fairly small. Maybe it is one of these that we use. So it is haze. Roll another die to locate it on the interception map. So we'll use the blue die for that. That's a cocked die. That's a 4. So the sun is on port. So port high sun is what we're looking at there. Just for grins, I'm going to see if I can find that bigger sun marker. Maybe it's not... Maybe it is one. Maybe that is one of the smaller chits in here, but I'll humor myself and look anyway. I do see a couple of sun markers, so I think it is one of those. Okay. Yep. Alright, looks like I've got the sun out then, so we've got that all sorted out. We'll bring the tower out of shot for the time being. So now that our patrol's all set up, I'll put the dice tower over here out of my way. Actually, we can leave the dice in there. Let's see, setup's all done. Okay, I think we're all set, so let's start revealing these inbound vectors. So our first vector that we've got here is I'm going to my deck. Our first inbound vector, card 5A. I believe that puts the raid in play right away. If the raid marker is not yet in play, put it there. So the raid vector is up here, which means now we roll a die to place the escort station. So we have to bring the dice tower right back in shot. Okay. Roll a die to place the... Okay, yep. So the raid marker... So roll a die to place it in the escort stations on the interception map. There should be a table for that. Now we just gotta find it. Oh, escort station's right here. Let's see, at 12, there is no escort, so we actually get away with one in theory there. Okay, and then after that, we go back to card 1. So now we're revealing the next inbound vector. So the next one we find here is a straggler. So that sends me to card 3. Place a lone bomber marker in the lost contact. So lone bomber marker in lost contact. So we'll grab one of these as our lost contact. One section or fighter in lost contact may immediately attack it, but we don't have anybody in, or one or more squadrons may be detached to go after it. I don't think we're going to go after it since we're already down a pilot, and I'd rather not pour gasoline on that fire. So we're going to return to card 1 with our next vector. So our next vector over here is we've got Messerschmitts. If the raid marker or squadron marker is in the deep zone of the raid track, which it is, Messerschmitts convert to a straggler. So place another lone bomber in the lost contact. Actually, hold up. So after all, okay, hold on. So before we do that, we're actually going to shuffle this up because we do need to go, since we revealed everything in the space, we actually do need to go to card 9. So I'm just giving that a quick shuffle. Each squadron spends a fuel. If the raid marker is not yet on the track, it is. You may perform contact if the squadron is in the same or adjacent zone. We are not. We're still deep, and the squadron is still inbound. So that doesn't happen there. Then move your squadron block. So we didn't do any kind of contact. Yeah, so we weren't able to do contact. Move your squadron block to the interception map. No, we didn't do that. Okay, so do a move or reform to improve your situation. So we're going to move into the middle. Since we're moving adjacent, move to a different altitude from low to high, placing a block under the squadron, which I think we are going to do that, but we will have to spend a fuel. So I'll grab a block here to pop the squadron up to high, but we will have to spend a fuel. And then that should send us back to card 1, I think. Escort exit, no. Reform, yep, we go back to card 1. All right, so now we're on this space of vectors, so now we find... Okay, now the raid marker is in play, so go to 5A, which means it is in play the bombers release ordnance. So when bombers release ordnance, we move the marker along the coast turn. Remove all inbound vector markers from the track. So all of these come off, which means those can go back to the box. That did not go well for us at all. And we draw outbound vector markers and put one in each box on the outbound row of the track. So my outbound vectors are in here. I'm going to get another cup out for those. So I've got all of my outbound markers in another cup here. We'll be placing those on the coast. So these bombers let their ordnance go very early. They definitely didn't want to hang around here. Okay. I wanted to make sure I couldn't see what was on the vector. Okay. And okay. Got him. All right. So now that we've done that, the sun marker is on the interception map, so we roll for a new spot for that. Roll a die and check for a new location. Sun is... Okay, which one is the... There should be a table here for... what did I do with the rest of my tables? I had them... Oh, I put them back in the box. Let's see. Okay. Not that one. That's for interception. Let's see, what's the table? If the sun marker is on the interception map, which it is, I'm still trying to figure out... Actually, there's a marker for visibility. as well, which I will use that. That was haze earlier. If sun, oh, that's okay. Never mind. It's right here. So if this, so right now the sun is flank, and based on the roll of being a 9 odd, so it moves to the other flank. So the sun is starboard. Reveal step is ended. We go to step 9. So we'll spend fuel. We spend fuel. Then we're not in the track. Contact. The raid marker. We are adjacent. Although, so actually, there might well be no point now that the squadron has already let their ordnance go. So can we even try to make contact now that the raid has let their ordnance go? Honestly, there doesn't seem to be any point, and I don't think the patrol here, I don't think the example of play really does a good job in explaining what happens when the... I don't think it really does a good job in explaining what happens when the patrol releases ordnance and goes outbound. Yeah. So if we're outbound, you can perform contact. They're turning. So, well, the problem is they're turning as they've already released ordnance. So that's where I'm thinking it's probably there's not much of a point here to trying to make contact with the patrol now that they've already released their ordnance and they're heading off. Yeah, because the example of play only explains what happens if you catch them when they're inbound. But I would think that... Let's see. So we may perform contact, but again, there's really no point to performing contact. I don't think, and I'm not sure we even can anyway. Let me see if there's something in the rulebook that explains what happens with the raid vector sequence when you go outbound. Let's see, 41. Let's see, outbound. Okay. Let's see, raid marker. Yeah, there's nothing here that explains what happens. Squadron is make an escort exit check, which we didn't have any of that. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we can still theoretically make contact with the patrol, with the bomber group, not with the raid, since we're in an adjacent zone. I think we're going to move it into the... I think we're going to wait and move it into the zone. We're not going to make contact yet. So we move our squadron block to the interception map, which we didn't do. Then the vector will move over to the coast. We're already at high altitude, so we didn't need to do that. Reform, and then we go to marker 1. We go back to card 1. So the raid marker is in play, which means now it's moving to this space. So now on the outbound marker we find new trade. New trade. Raid marker is in play. Oh, we need to build... Did we need to set up the bombers? When the bombers release ordnance... Okay, something's wrong here, because it never instructed us on when to set up the bombers. Treat it as a raid result. If visibility is clear, Yeah, it's always the raid marker. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking this game's probably moving out of my collection at this point. It's not, like I said, this is one of those games that I should really adore based on what I like about the narrative aspects of wargaming, but I'm very much bouncing hard off of this one because it's not even explained to me when you set up the bombers. You're not supposed to set them up until you're not supposed to, I know you're not supposed to set them up until you reveal them. Visibility is clear. Oh, looks like we don't do that until we make contact. Is that what it is here? So when we choose to make contact. Move your squadron and go to card 12. Escort stations are not yet on the map. Yeah, so visibility is clear. We spend yet more fuel because they're adjacent. But, okay, so it looks like when we make contact, then that's when we set the bombers out. But I think we're just going to end up letting the patrol go at this point. So we've spent our fuel. Yeah, we're just going to call it a patrol at this point because honestly, it's already going to go through. It's going to go through the rest of the bomber. It's going to go through the rest of these vectors. And even with these cards, even with these explanation cards, it wasn't completely clear to me in terms of when you set out the bombers. So, as I mentioned, this is a game that I should like, but I can tell I'm bouncing hard off of it. So I think we're going to call it there. I may try to put something else quick to get. Well, there's going to be another game on the channel later this afternoon. I was going to do Stratomatic Hockey as I'm getting ready for my 2009-10 hockey season replay, but I'm not going to do that today. Instead, when we come back to hockey, it'll be this coming weekend, the weekend of June 21st and 22nd, when we're going to be having hockey demo weekend when I go through both demo games. As for what else is coming up on the channel, I'm going to start cleaning up here. As for what else is coming up on the channel, tomorrow we will be continuing Metal Gear Mondays as we play Metal Gear Solid, the board game, as we've got the fight with the Cyborg Ninja. Wednesday, what are we playing on Wednesday? We're playing Aeon's End from Indie Boards and Cards. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the World of Warcraft New Flavors of Azeroth cookbook as we make the entree, Nomergon Nuggets. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.